This was me, just over 2 years ago. And just like a lot of you watching this video, I was done with being a skinny kid. This is me now, and I'm sorry to disappoint you if you thought, you could be the next Arnold within the next 2 years, but unfortunately, this is just the reality for most lifters. Within 2 years, sure, you can make very good progress. However, to become this big, massive jack guy that you see on your Instagram reels and TikToks, it's just not going to happen. Having said that, I've definitely made some progress, and I'm here to tell you my story with the hopes that I could provide you with some things that you can take away when you reach the end of this video. So, without further ado, let's get into chapter 1. I would often experience the typical scenarios, always being told to eat more, the wrist thing, which every skinny person knows about. And for those of you who have played any sort of sport, just being pushed around too easily. Little did I know that all these years down the line, these would have all been motivating factors for me to get started in the gym. Well, not exactly the gym yet, but we will get to that. Like a lot of people within the gym community, I started with the classic how to get abs in 1 week videos, watching the Athlete Next guy telling you to do one thing one video, then telling you to do the complete opposite the next. I was confused and overwhelmed. Two very common emotions that the majority of lifters experience when they start their gym journey. So if that's you right now, don't stress. However, I got started. This being by following Austin Dunham's 5-minute home chest workout. Of course, if we're talking about getting optimal gains, then this was far from it. Point being, I was seeing my first pumps and experiencing some sort of muscle aches, meaning that I was doing something right at the very minimum. Important to note, this was at a time when there was a certain virus going around, meaning that for the next couple of years, home workouts would be as far as going to the gym for me. Anyways, I had a poor workout routine, I still didn't really know what I was doing, wasn't staying very consistent, and as a result, I didn't really make any progress. This leads me on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, the real start. 2021, I get into my first choice university after suffering for 2 years doing A-levels. I could probably do a whole video on the first year of uni, the experience of itself, but that's not what you're here for. After all the going out and occasional studying, I started to finally get myself into the gym. Shame was that this was only in June, quite literally the end of the first year. Regardless, this was my first real gym experience. So, with my extremely limited knowledge, Kev and I, this guy that you see in my videos now, we got our memberships and we got to work. I remember the first workouts being a complete shambles. We'd turn up, do some bench press, then move on to some triceps and biceps when we were bored, and then, of course, legs did not exist. Slight sidetrack. As I'm writing down this video now, I've just reminded myself of the first time someone gave me some real good advice in the gym. I was doing some sort of tricep push-down variation, and my form must have been so bad because the guy came over to help. And if you've been going to the gym often, you know that that does not happen very often at all unless your form is really bad. So shout out to you if you're somehow ever seeing this, which I doubt you ever are, but shout out to you regardless. Why is this relevant? It helped ease the initial gym anxiety of thinking that everyone's staring at you in the gym, thinking that this guy's terrible, like what's he even doing in here? Come to realise that in the gym, everybody's minding their own business. And if anything, people are there to support you. The gym is a place where people go to better themselves. Nobody's interested in clowning others. So if the thing that is holding you back from starting is the anxiousness, it's all in your head. This fear doesn't actually exist. Anyways, my first year of uni finished and the summer break just began. That summer of 2022, I bought a gym membership close to my home in London and got straight to it. Lift by lift, I started to learn more and more and eventually developed a workout split that, yes, it did include legs. And then I slowly started to experience the best thing that any beginner lifter can experience, that being Noob Gains. Noob Gains are the first gains that you get when you first start to work out, and they make you feel like you're Mr. Olympia himself. These gains are a great motivator for anyone starting out because the progress that you can make so quickly is crazy. However, with that also comes a downside, which leads me on to chapter 3, plateauing and consistency struggles. That summer I made some good gains, but little did I know what was to follow, the end of the newbie gains. After a few months of working out, your progress may start to decline a little bit. That being with differences to your physique and strength-wise, not being able to increase the weight every other workout. Typically, noob gains unfortunately don't last much longer than about a year at most, which is the very downfall of noob gains. They provide an unrealistic expectation and an unrealistic time frame for which you can expect to see such gains in the long run. This, inevitably, can be very demotivating. You may start to question your purpose of what's the point of even being in the gym anymore, because you're not seeing the same level of rapid progress that you were experiencing before. And this, well, this is the first test that separates those that give up or those that keep going. Thankfully, I decided to keep going. Chapter 4, Reflection and Realization. Sometimes to move forward, you must take a step back. As second year concluded and summer came and went again, I had made some progress. However, I knew that I wasn't fulfilling my potential to the extent that I knew I could. Firstly, I had to accept the hardest thing. I wasn't pushing myself hard enough. I was leaving reps in the tank, and for a lot of the time, I was coasting through my workouts. Realizing and accepting this, however, put me back on track. With working out, you must keep an open mind and stay humble. Understanding that you don't know everything will really help you along your journey. Chapter 5, Nutrition. This is quite possibly the most important chapter in the video, and I sort of wish I could put it at the start of the video, but chronologically, it just wouldn't make any sense. I told myself all of the exact same excuses that you may be telling yourself right now. I'm a hard gainer, I have a fast metabolism, I already eat a lot. You need to stop. Just be real with yourself for a sec. Accept that these are simply excuses that are just holding you back. Similar to what I said in the last chapter, you've got to take a step back and realize that you're not being true to yourself. You know that deep down you could be doing better, but you're making these excuses just to make yourself feel better. Well, how should you do this? Firstly, work out how many calories you must consume on a daily basis in order for you to gain weight. You can do this simply by searching up on Google any sort of calorie calculator, and this will tell you the exact amount of calories that you should be aiming for in order for you to put on weight. Then start tracking your calories. I can't emphasize the importance of this. This will firstly show you in fact that you are not eating as much as you thought you were, and this will be a struggle, of course. Nobody said that this part was easy. Who wants to force feed themselves every single day with little to no results being seen on a daily basis? But guess what? Unfortunately, there's no way around it. Every single lifter that started off skinny had to go through it, and so will you. Treat eating as an exercise. No matter what, you have to get through your meals. I can promise you that if you give this just a week, you'll start to see your weight increasing, and subsequently your gains will improve. Nothing will change if you don't change something. Chapter 6, Sam Select. Yes, I know you may be thinking that this is a strange chapter name, but just bear with me. As all of the adults in your life have probably told you before, time really does fly. My final year of uni had begun, and I was starting to see real progress as my first true bulking phase had started. Sticking to the principles of pushing myself in the gym and ensuring that I'd be getting my calories in meant that I was getting heavier and stronger month by month. The gym at this point had become a key role in my life. This is when the content that I started to consume and watch on social media started swaying from the silly cat videos or whatever nonsense that you see put out there, and had slowly started to become gym and fitness related media. This was when I discovered Sam Select's YouTube channel. His videos to this day teach me not only to become a better lifter, but also help me to become a more motivated person outside of the gym. I guess what I'm trying to say in this chapter is the more time that you dedicate to learning and listening to people who have been in your situation before, that this will help you on your own journey. Chapter 7, Mistakes and Best Advice. In this final chapter, I'll essentially try to summarize my journey so far into bullet points. Firstly, with the mistakes that I made so that you should avoid, and secondly, how I countered these instead. Mistake number 1, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. The reality for a lot of you, and myself included, is that you're not leaving it all out there. Every set, you should be aiming to reach muscle failure or near muscle failure at the very minimum. One thing that I done that helped me to push myself harder was to stop aiming for a certain amount of reps. At the start, I would work to get 8 reps in and then just stop, even though I knew that I could do more. By eliminating this limiting factor, the only thing to stop you from getting more reps in should be your muscles physically not being able to do so. Mistake number 2, motivation is nonsense. Motivation is one of the biggest myths within the gym community when it comes to planning for consistency. This is simply down to the fact that you will not be motivated to go to the gym every single day. Being disciplined to go on the days where you can't be bothered to go is far more important and will ultimately be the deciding factor in getting you to develop a consistent routine. Mistake number 3, not tracking your calories. I'll go over this quite briefly because there's not much to say on this point. The day that you start tracking your calories will be the day that you'll start to develop real weight gain results. Simple as that. Mistake number 4, comparison is the thief of joy. This is one of the only quotes that actually resonates with me because it's true. Your Insta Reels or TikToks or YouTube Shorts may be filled with guys who have been working out for years or even decades. They have truly made this their lifestyle. Comparing your progress to anyone else's is a complete waste of time. Your progress is unique to you, and you must learn to understand this. And finally, some concluding thoughts. Look, I am far from the biggest or strongest gym goer out there. I too have a long road ahead of me, and I am excited for what's to come. All I know is that if you start your gym journey, you will not regret it. I have never heard of anyone who has regretted started going to the gym. Everyone has their own reasons to begin, so stop holding yourself back and get started. If you did find this video anyhow useful, then consider subscribing. I'm aiming to get 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.